Business confidence has ticked up. SACCI's morale indicators registered a slight rise to 109.1 points in July. The Chamber of Commerce and Industry says business sentiment between June and July was boosted by an increase in new vehicle sales. It's also pointed to a stronger and less volatile weighted rand exchange rate. SACCI has, however, added that the lower import volumes and a decline in overseas tourists dampened morale a bit. Retail sales, meanwhile, have continued to rise, jumping to 4.1% in June. This marks the fourth consecutive monthly increase and its highest level in nearly 2 years. The highest contribution came from the General Dealers Division. Investec Chief Economist Annabel Bishop says some relief post-election also likely spurred spend. Weaker metal prices have taken the shine off Northam's annual performance. The miner expects headline earnings to plunge by up to 86%. That's despite a rise in production, higher sales volumes, and increased revenue from chrome sales. Northam's blamed a near 36% decline in the rand basket price for the metals it produces. Looking ahead, the miner says global geopolitical and macroeconomic issues could cause further disruption to the PGM markets and metal prices. It's also flagged possible load curtailment from Eskom as a challenge. DRD Gold's eyeing a rise in year-end profit. The bullion producer says its headline earnings per share could increase by up to 9%. That uptick supported by a 14% rise in revenue, supported by a higher rand gold price. On the output side, production delays along with reclamation activities at cleanup sites saw the group fall short of its production guidance during the period and led to it exceeding its cash operating unit cost guidance. Advitech's forecast higher half-year profit. The private education group expects its earnings on a per-share basis to rise by 13 to 18%. Advitech has not elaborated on that forecast, but more detail should be provided when it opens its books in 2 weeks' time. Vodacom is set to expand its reach in KZN and will spend over 800 million rand in the year ending March 2025 in the province. Those funds will go towards the construction of new network sites and to modernize its mobile networks. Vodacom is also planning a full fiber broadband rollout along with energy projects to push up broadband connectivity and service in the region. In international news, Google has released a lineup of new Pixel smartphones with better integrations of its AI technology as it races to incorporate AI into its hardware. Let's take a look at this package report for more.
Award-winning Pixel camera.
Alphabet's Google showed off its new Pixel phones with deeper AI features, as well as live demos of its chatbot Gemini.
Now you can just circle.
One Pixel-only feature lets users search for information stored in screenshots. Android users can also now pull up Gemini as an overlay on top of another app to answer questions or generate content. Rick Osterloh oversees Google's Android, Chrome, and hardware.
With your permission, it can offer unparalleled, personalized help, accessing relevant information across your Gmail inbox, your Google Calendar, and more.
The new Pixel 9 series phones have been redesigned with newer chips and cameras, and the base model starts at $799, up $100 from the last generation.
Pixel 9 Pro Fold.
Meanwhile, Brian Rakowski, a top executive in the Pixel division, introduced the newest folding version of Google's phones.
It's the largest display on a phone, and it's 80% brighter than the first generation. This big screen gives you so much more surface area for entertainment, productivity, multitasking, and content creation.
Google also announced new versions of its smartwatch and wireless earbuds. The event bucks Google's tradition to announce a new version of its gadgets in the fall. That timing is its latest bid to keep up with rivals in injecting AI features into its consumer-facing products. It also comes ahead of Apple's planned launch of a new iPhone in September. In June, Apple said its latest devices would get upgrades that include Apple Intelligence, a slew of generative AI-powered features within native apps, and an integration with ChatGPT.
Now, as summer break begins internationally for some scholars, the next phase begins, a period of vocational training that paves the way to employment. However, in Germany, reports show that over a third of apprenticeships remained unfilled. That was last year. Now, let's turn out to our reporter, Anati Ndevu, now for more. Anati?
That's right, Ndaulenga. According to the latest government data, over a third of training programs in Germany remained unchanged. This, of course, highlights a critical skills gap in the workforce. And joining me now to shed light on this is DW's Lars Halter, who is currently standing by in Berlin. Lars, thank you so much for your time. As I mentioned there, this highlights a critical skills gap in the workforce, which of course impacts Germany's economic growth and competitiveness. So what's triggering this?
Thanks for having me. Indeed, these are some shocking numbers. 35% of apprenticeships went unfilled. That means companies were not able to fill 1 out of 3 positions they were offering to young people entering the labor market. For some perspective, back in 2010, only 15% of apprenticeships went unfilled. That was seen as something businesses could deal with. Now they're starting to see major problems. Looking into some details here, the numbers are a bit lower in the former West and a bit higher in the former East. Large companies manage to find more apprentices. Smaller companies seem to have a much harder time. And some business sectors are hit especially hard, including heating and plumbing. And it's because the sector has an unreasonably bad name. Young people think of clogged toilets and a dirty job. What they don't see is that they're also installing heating systems. They deal with renewable energy, control high-tech appliances, and even more important, do a job that is absolutely guaranteed to be in demand, basically offering a lifetime of job security.
So, Lars, does this mean that there is no working appetite amongst Germans?
Yes, to a certain degree, that's what's going on. And it's not only that heating and plumbing sector, the #1 sector where young people quit apprenticeships early on is gastronomy. Now, that's partially because they see all these cooking shows on TV. They're thinking of good food and all that comes with it. And they fail to see that working in a kitchen is really hard and greasy and hectic. So they're often bowing out to look for something else. And that something else also is often university. In Germany, 1.2 million people are currently in an apprenticeship. Almost 3 million are studying. Now, that trend has been developing for decades. Many Germans grow up with the idea that to get a really good job, you have to be an academic. Maybe you can one day run your own company. However, the scales have tipped long ago, and we're looking at too many academics and not enough workers now.
And Lars, is this trend reversible?
Well, there's a few ideas out there. First of all, it seems schools need to do a better job to get students into internships and training programs with local businesses while they're young enough. That is to say, before they are making a final decision on what they're doing after school. And to be fair, companies also have to do a better. Some have been trying to more aggressively approach young people using social media to recruit. And some are even offering extra cash, a signing bonus, extra money for holidays and Christmas, but more than anything, they will just have to do a better job explaining that they offer the most interesting perspective, job security and great potential for growth. There's so many companies here that have full order books and not enough people to keep up with the work. They're saying they can do better as a business and obviously offer young people great opportunities in the long run.
Lars, thank you so much for those updates. Let's leave it there for now. That was DW's Lars Halter.